Hello and welcome to Assisi and another program in this series on the topic of Franciscan. My name is Franciscan Mary. In a previous program, I promised to look at the Marian legacy of St. Maximilian Kolbe. Let's begin to do so in this program. 6 spiritual conferences that St. Maximilian gave to the friars in Rome during the 1930s were translated into the English language some years back. The translations were done by an American conventual Franciscan priest, the late Father Peter Damien Fellner, a priest whom I was blessed to know for almost 20 years. The particular conference which we will look at in this program was given to clerical students of the conventual Franciscan order in Rome in 1937. By clerical students we mean those friars studying for the priesthood. The conference took place in the conventual friary at Lavinia, not too far from the Circus Maximus. This friary presently houses conventual Franciscan friars who were studying at the universities in the city. I have visited the friary myself, and I can tell you that it is a magnificent building. It originally belonged to the Jesuit order, and many famous Jesuit saints lived there. St. John Berkman, St. Aloysius Gonzaga, St. Robert Bellarmine, and even St. Ignatius of Loyola himself. Father Maximilian began the conference by speaking about the priestly vocation. Remember, he is speaking to clerical students. These students would most likely have already made their consecration to the Blessed Virgin Mary, and Father Maximilian encourages them to put themselves in her hands, entrusting to her their vocation and the priesthood. To belong to the Immaculate, so as to belong to Jesus. Father Maximilian goes on to say how the Immaculate formed Jesus in his human nature, gave him suck, nourished him, watched him grow, guided him in his first steps and then in his education. In the same way, the Immaculate will form and make Jesus grow in our hearts so that we can bring him to others as well. She will help us to be faithful, to persevere. And how do we persevere? Well, by not doing our will, but by rather doing the will of God. And by doing the will of God, we achieve sanctity. At this point, Father Maximilian rose from his chair, went to the blackboard and wrote capital letter S, colon, small lowercase letter v, an equals sign, and a large capital letter V. He explained that the capital letter S signified sanctity, the lowercase v signified our will, and the capital letter V signified God's will. In other words, we achieve sanctity, holiness, when our will is united to God's will. Father Maximilian tells us that the Immaculate, the full of grace, was always united to the will of God. From all eternity she was in the thought of God, who had willed her so holy and perfect to correspond with his will in a manner so complete. Hence, we can say that to do the will of God means to do the will of the Immaculate, and to do the will of the Immaculate means to do the will of God, because she is always united to God. The Lord is with thee, because she is always docile to the call of God. Be it done to me, because she is always solicitous for the glory of God, always adoring, praising and thanking. My soul magnifies the Lord. We will leave it there for the moment. In future programs, we will take a look at some more of St. Maximilian's spiritual conferences. I do hope that you have enjoyed listening to the program. So until the next time, this is Franciscan Mary saying, thank you for listening and God bless.